Hey everyone, welcome back to Elshin, and I want you to watch the first few seconds of the trailer for David Fincher's The Social Network. Mark Woolen, who's the head of one of the biggest trailer editing agencies in Hollywood, was assigned to make a trailer for The Social Network in early 2010. The movie wasn't finished, so naturally the score was not either. And up until this point, most movies in their trailers used the movie's actual score, or actually a different movie's score. For a franchise movie, maybe a piece of music from earlier in the franchise, or for a non-franchise, maybe a score from the same genre. But Mark Woolen didn't think that would fit here. So one night, after hitting a pretty long creative block, he found a file that he had downloaded years ago. Sitting on his hard drive was a haunting cover of Radiohead's Creep by a Belgian choir. And the rest is history. Since that trailer for The Social Network was released, the trend of using popular songs in trailers by slowing them down or by dramatizing them or having them covered by a different artist has become the industry standard. An example would be Marvel using Elton John's Goodbye Yellow Brick Road for Ant-Man, or DC using Nirvana's Something in the Way for the new Batman trailer. Aerosmith's Dream On was used in the trailer for The Creator. And War Pigs by Black Sabbath was used in the Napoleon trailer. Generals gathered in their masses. And the list goes on, but trailers just feel so stuck. They are so thoroughly attached to this predictable system of slapping on a song just because it sounds loud and dramatic and epic. And it's getting boring. Trailers as a concept are pretty strange. They are this concentrated dose of artistry, but they're also intrinsically attached to advertisement. So how do you strike that balance between creativity and sales artfully? Walking into a movie theater or perusing YouTube's trending page used to feel like a mystery. There was this excitement and enigmatic quality to watching a trailer because you didn't know what you were about to watch or hear. And a lot of that mystery, in my opinion, was because of the purpose-made, curated quality of the music. The trailer for The Social Network may seem like an unassuming pick, but it was with no exaggeration industry changing. The fact that essentially half of this trailer does not have a single shot from the actual movie is crazy, and it only gets away with that through the usage of music. If you know it, think about the lyrics of Creep by Radiohead. On a purely lyrical level, there is this representation of someone who feels socially outcast. Mark Zuckerberg, played by Jesse Eisenberg in The Social Network, felt outcasted by his peers and withdrawn from everyone around him. And this was the impetus for him to create Facebook. It was to fill that social void in his life. So the song lyrically fits the inciting incident of the film and how we imagine a man like Mark Zuckerberg to be. But this cover also has such thematic resonance within the material of the trailer and the film itself. What really jumps out when listening to this choir is the breadth of it, which is for no small part due to the fact that there are 200 women singing in this choir. Now think about that, this choir of hundreds of women playing over the smiling faces of various people on Facebook. It sort of adds this woeful and tragic quality to every single frame of this trailer. It feels like the millions of souls that have been hurt and damaged by social media are haunting us when this song is played over this montage of these faces. This platform that was intended to foster social connection only makes people more separated and more outcast. This song being put over happy faces plays with that irony that is inherent to this movie's topic. This cover truly fits here, and the fact that it fits so well is what kickstarted this whole entire trend, this trend that has not yet ceased. But like all trends, there is an initial novelty and quality to begin with. But as the concept keeps getting iterated on again and again, with lessening artistic intent, it becomes not just stale, but deceitful. The issue of modern movie trailer music lies not within the principle of utilizing a beloved song and remixing or repurposing it, but it lies within the intent behind that utilization. This is part of the trailer for Blumhouse's new film, Imaginary.
You've been spending time with a new friend? He asked you to do something that hurt you.
The song you hear playing over this trailer is called It Was Just My Imagination by The Temptations. Now let me lay out the idea of this song versus the idea behind the movie Imaginary. Okay, so the song is about this man who is pining over someone and sort of sulking in his unrequited love by imagining what life could be like with this person. And this movie, by all metrics that we can observe so far, is about a teddy bear with bad intentions. It is undeniably apparent that this piece of music was just chosen because it has the name of the movie in the title of the song, along with the fact that it's popular enough to be in a lot of our collective consciousness. This idea of balancing the comfort or the joy you feel when hearing a song that you know, played along with the thematic core of a trailer or a movie, is what the Social Network's trailer does right, and what this trailer for Imagination egregiously fails to do. This trailer will not be remembered by a single person, and if it is, it'll most likely be because it is so terrible. Using existing pieces of art to tickle the nostalgic part of our brain and push us to engage with the trailer only works when the inclusion of the song doesn't feel so arbitrary. It's nostalgia bait in its purest form. And as this trend of slowed, dramatized versions of songs becomes older and more stale, audiences will start to notice. As the novelty wears off, the truth becomes so much more apparent. And the funny thing is, this problem isn't just contained to using pop songs. It can happen within franchises. Take a look at this trailer for Star Wars Episode 9. If you have seen Star Wars, or have ever been into movie music in general, you'll know that you just heard the start to one of the most iconic pieces of film score ever, Duel of the Fates. This song has been lauded and praised, especially in contrast to the movie that it was made for, which was very controversial. But what's interesting is that in Star Wars Episode 9's 2.5-hour runtime, Duel of the Fates, the song played in this trailer, is not played once. There is no hint of it anywhere in the film, even in places where it would fit. This was purely a marketing tactic. And again, this relates back to the balance that a trailer has to strike. Yes, it's an advertisement, but it also has to be artful, not iterative. And to sort of add salt to the wound of this already weird advertisement stunt, there's a point to be made on the state of the Star Wars franchise at the time of this trailer's release. So in 2019, when this trailer came out, the franchise and the fans sort of got this newfound acceptance and love for the prequel trilogy, which was released in the early 2000s. This is where Duel of the Fates is from. And after being so harshly panned by the public, fans started focusing on the positive aspects of these movies, and the score was definitely one of those positive aspects. And instead of validating that acceptance and providing meaningful content that fans could enjoy relating to that newfound love, Disney decided to do things like this and capitalize on that newfound love for those movies monetarily and not creatively. It's a truly bottom of the barrel moment that doesn't just stop at Star Wars. With franchises, as box office revenues dwindle and audience opinion does as well, promotional campaigns, trailers included, become so utterly reliant on previous material. We're in a period where franchises like Marvel and DC and Star Wars have to grapple with the fact that they can't keep force-feeding meaningless, spineless content into the film ecosystem, and we're witnessing them flounder because of that. I detailed an example from Star Wars' promotional material earlier, but just last year, one of Marvel's new trailers did as much as feature shots from the older, more beloved Marvel movies with like a black and white nostalgia filter over them for some of the most blatant and pathetic nostalgia bait I have ever seen. But the fact of the matter is that just like fans got tired of poor quality content that these studios were pushing, they also get tired of reminders saying, hey, come watch our new movie because you loved our old one. It'll work a few times for sure, but not for long. With trailers, there needs to be depth and intent, something that as of now, these huge franchises have none of. In most modern trailers that either have original scoring or use previously released songs, you'll probably hear the same few things. If you're in the superhero genre, you will probably hear huge brass or choral sounds. If you're in horror, you're probably going to hear crescendoing dissonant piano or plucked strings. Trailers that use previously existing songs and embellish them will probably embellish it with a bunch of loud bass and just stuff that makes it sound quote-unquote epic. Listen to a clip of this song. You've probably heard that before, right? That was a song from a trailer music library called 2 Steps from Hell. And this is just one example of a library that pumps out endless tracks for studios who now are not willing to spend the time or money to produce original curated tracks for their projects. Now the trailer industry is moving and has moved almost completely to this library approach. Instead of individualized, searched for, researched for, distinctive music purpose-made for a specific trailer, we get these interchangeable blocks of sound that can be picked up and dropped in any trailer at any time for one purpose: to be loud, to be epic, to be attention-grabbing, but also to be expendable. 2 Steps from Hell alone has released over 50 studio albums, and combining that with another trailer industry giant, BMG Production Music, which has put out over 200 studio albums, you can see how homogenized the pool is getting. When you have industry giants releasing hundreds of thousands of hours of music, there's almost no chance for individuality or innovation by artists, because producing this much content requires a very standardized approach. And with the libraryization of the industry, not only does uniqueness and variety vanish, but studios who see successful trailers that use this epic music will feel the need to feed this cycle to produce more and more of it, so that they can slap it onto their next trailer and have that same success. Basically, epic music has caused a plague of creativity. The artists who write and produce these songs are trapped because they have to write to this norm to make a living. But then what happens? Artists in these music libraries only get paid when their song is chosen by a studio. They get this one sale, but that's not enough to sustain them. So what they do is they'll resort to putting their music on YouTube. And then they start saturating this endless stream of music that anyone can see, anyone can listen to, anyone can use. Which means up-and-coming creatives who require music for their projects are met with this tidal wave of epic music that all sounds the same. But it's conflicting if I call this a purely bad thing. Having music of any type, even the epic kind that I'm criticizing, available to new artists that might not have the budget for original music is a huge step in the democratization of filmmaking and content creation. But at the same time, it's a type of music and a type of approach that is driven by consumption and money over creativity. But again, at the end of the day, as easy as it is to say, fuck the rules, the library approach is what feeds artists and artists' families, and without that, innovation is impossible. So maybe it's a necessary evil and a necessary cycle. But for how long will it be necessary? It may seem bleak right now, with people like the head of Sony Music Publishing stating that the process of making a trailer song means, and I quote, changing every aspect of the song except the lyrics, or in other words, ripping out every ounce of emotional and creative intent behind the instrumentation or the sound of the song. But despite that, this type of trailer music is a trend, and like any other trend, it has had its highs, but now I think we're experiencing a bit of a come down, where it's being criticized and alternatives are being explored. This period in movie trailers will end. It's only a question of what will replace it and when that will happen. When will we become so desensitized to the blaring bass and the melodrama of these songs? When will we stop consuming these melancholic, meaningless covers? When will we stop watching? I do want to end this video on a bit more of a positive note though. Since most trailer remixes and the embellished version of these songs are not released publicly or officially, there has been an outpour in demand for those songs and music like it, and that has largely fallen into the hands of individual artists and musicians who are just getting their start in creating or trying to find sources of monetary income to support their work. This has created so much space for artistic development for musicians on YouTube and Spotify and SoundCloud who hone their craft by creating this trailer music for us to enjoy if we so please. So go look around for that stuff, because there's a lot of talented people out there. If you need a good place to start, Game Chops is a record label that supports artists who remix or cover video game soundtracks and provides them with a platform and an ecosystem in which their work can be discovered more easily. And there are so many talents on there that deserve your view or your stream or your watch, at least way more than the studios do. So yeah, thank you all so much for watching. Please like and subscribe and comment if you have any thoughts on the video, and I'll see you whenever I post next. Hopefully it'll be sooner than last time. Bye.